Hi everybody. So I'm here to do the tag about first impressions of the hobby. And so while I answer that, I'm going to change Haley out of her Canada Day outfit. And I figure since we were talking about this onesie when I was changing Zoe, I'm going to put her in the newborn onesie. And so they'll match. They will match. So Yvonne, you'll have to tell me, do you remember, did you give me the newborn size or the preemie size? Either way, one of the babies is wearing the one that you gave now. So, okay, so this has like some little buttons on the back. Just take those out, just two. Okay, so, first impressions of the hobby. It's kind of been a fun tag for me to watch. It's been interesting to see how many people first thought we were nuts. I was not in that group. I was not in that group. I have always loved dolls. My entire life, I have always loved dolls. You guys know the story. I've never outgrown my love of dolls. I used to play with my Cabbage Patch Kid even when I was in high school. I'd just go in my room, close the door, play with my Cabbage Patch Kid. I didn't care. I loved it. And like I said, when I took the Baby Think It Over home in high school, I wanted to keep it, which obviously I couldn't. So once I had a job and was able to afford one, that's how I got into that. So at the time, I was looking at Baby Think It Overs on eBay, but I was also looking at the electronic neonates, which was like the toy version of the actual parenting dolls. And while I was looking for Baby Think It Overs on eBay, I actually found Reborn dolls at that time. And at that time it was the Behringers that they were reborning, and I was blown away with those. Looking back on it now, I actually think I had a picture of the first Reborn that I fell in love with that I had thought about getting instead of an electronic neonate. But I just, at that time in my life, I really wanted the interactive electronic features, so that won me over Reborns. But I recently came across on one of my old thumb drives or something like that, I had a picture of the first Reborn that I came across on eBay that I loved, and it was a Behringer, but I think I deleted it. Otherwise I would put it up on the screen and show you guys, but I do believe I deleted it. But it was, I think, a blonde baby. But of course it had a wig. It wasn't rooted hair at that time. They used wigs and they used like stencil creams and stuff like that. So, but at that time, I mean, that was the first time I ever saw a Reborn doll. I thought it looked so real. I was blown away with it. But looking at that picture, the last time I found it before I deleted it, when I looked at that picture and compared it to the beautiful sculpts and the beautiful painting that artists can do now, oh my gosh, there was no comparison. It did not look realistic at all compared to someone here like my Haley here, the Serenity sculpt, or, you know, Savannah, the Coco Malou sculpt. I mean, it's amazing to see how far it's come. But that was my first exposure to Reborn dolls, was the Behringers. And I was in love. It was instant. I loved them right away. It was just like I said, at that time in my life, I wasn't so much interested in them because I really wanted an interactive doll. But as I got older, and reborning, you know, I still followed reborning. A lot of the people in my Baby Think It Over and neonate group started to get Reborn dolls or Ashton Drake dolls. So I started off with the Ashton Drake dolls. And then as slowly as I started to see the art of reborning evolving, when they started coming out with kits, and I started to see how they were starting to be painted and rooted, and some of these sculpts looked so realistic. Well, back then they looked realistic, but nowadays they look 10 times more realistic. Same as the painting and rooting has advanced so much from those days. That was probably like back in like 2005. I discovered them in 2002. That's when I first saw them. But I think, you know, when I really started to take notice of Reborns because they were advancing, that was probably around 2000, and I'm going to say maybe like around 2006, 2007 is when they really started to advance. And so I got my first one in 2008, and it just continued on from there. And so I never had any negative reaction whatsoever. I was in love from day one, but it took a few years for me to want to get one. It took me a while to actually want to get one. Basically, like I said, I saw the art form evolve essentially. I saw it go from the Behringers with the stencil creams and the wigs to this gorgeous piece of art right here. And so I think, like I said, I was interested. I watched them, I looked into them, and as they started to get to that more advanced and more realistic stage, that's when I really was like, okay, I think I want to start to dive into buying Reborns. So yeah, my first impression from the get-go, even as far back as when they weren't all that realistic, I was blown away. I was amazed. I love them. I love them. So that's a short video. Yay! I was actually able to answer a question in a short period of time. And I think I'm just going to leave her without shorts, without pants. It's so hot. She can just have her little legs out. She looks nice and cool. So here she is. Such a sleepy head. Such a sleepy head. But yeah, so thank you, Auntie Yvonne, and thank you to whoever else sent the other one of these onesies. I can't remember who sent what size. I just remember Yvonne gave us one of them. That I know. But it's hard to keep track. It's hard to keep track of all the outfits that I have and who sent me what and where I bought what and when I bought what. Like, it's like, oh. But yeah, so that is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. And let's see if we can zoom in and see. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye. Oh my gosh, this was exciting. I wasn't expecting it. You know, they are calling for a Canada Post strike, possibly around Wednesday or sometime after Wednesday. So it's really lucky that I was able to get this. I hope there won't be a strike, but if there is, at least I got this before it happened. Oh my gosh. It's Superman! Superman!